The prayer is on page 174 of the Universal Prayers. This is Sri Shankaracharya's Pratasmarana Stotram, to be chanted in the morning, first thing in the morning. Prata means morning, Smarana means remembering God. For devotees, remembering Brahman, that we are the self, not the body mind. For jnanis. 3 stanzas. Pratasmarami hridisam spuradatmatattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yat swapna jagara sushuptamavaiti nityam Tad brahmanishkalamaham nacha bhuta sangha Pratar bhajami manaso vachasamagamyam Vacho vibhanti nikhila yadanugrahena Yanneti neti vachanair nigama avochuku Tam deva deva majamachyutamahuragryam Pratarnamami tamasaha paramarkavarnam Purnam sanatana padam purushottamakhyam Yasmin nidam jagadasheshamasheshamurtau Rajvam bhujangama iva pratibhasitam vai. At dawn, I meditate within my heart on the self-effulgent Atman, the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, the goal of the greatest ascetics, the transcendent and the eternal, who is beyond the states of waking, dream, and sleep. I am really that indivisible Brahman and not a combination of material elements. At dawn, I worship him who is beyond the reach of mind and speech, but because of whose presence all speech becomes manifest. Him the scriptures indicate by the words not this, as beyond all attributes. Him the sages describe as the God of gods, eternal, immutable, and supreme. At dawn, I salute the effulgent being who is beyond all darkness, who is called the Supreme, the Infinite, and the Eternal, in whom appears the world of manifold forms, like the snake superimposed on the rope. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today is Mahashivaratri, and we are going to do the puja in the evening. If you wish, you can watch them from home, watch the puja from home. Puja begins at 7:30 this evening. So let us review some important points. There are many, and only some of them we can review. The last verse was 78. There, Sanjaya says, wherever the Lord Krishna is, yatra yogeshwara Krishna, and wherever Partha, Arjuna, holding the bow, is there, everything will be fine. Tatra Shri, there will be wealth. Vijaya, there will be success. Bhutihi, there will be prosperity. Dhruvaniti, and stable peace and order in society. This is my firm conviction. Mama. So that Lord says, it means Wherever the Lord Bhagavan's teachings are studied and practiced, he is everywhere and he's all-pervading in the universe. But his presence is tangibly felt in a place where people study his teachings, worship him, and then put into practice his teachings. Where Dhanurdhara, the Arjuna who is holding the bow, Gandiva, he is present. That means the role of Arjuna was crucial in the Gita. Without his questioning, the Gita Upadesha would not have been there at all. So we owe a great deal to Arjuna for making this possible, teaching possible. If he had not raised the question, then the war would have proceeded. We would not have any Bhagavad Gita or anything. So the greatest contribution to humankind has been made possible because of Arjuna. So like him, we also should develop the practice of questioning everything that we do and say. Unquestioningly, without thinking, if we do things and say, we speak, then it may have unwanted, undesirable consequences. So thoughtful action, thoughtful speech, that's what Arjuna stands for. Unlike other people on the Pandava side and Kaurava side, he just did not start fighting as soon as he entered the battlefield. He wanted to take some time to think, what am I doing? Is it right or wrong? These are all my own people on the other side. And they have a bigger army than we have. And somehow, if we succeed, that means we'll have to kill all these people whom we love. And then the kingdom that we gain comes tainted with their blood. It's not a good thing. If they kill us, if we get defeated, we get killed, then there is no life at all. Either way, it's not a good proposition. So he was questioning. That's how the whole Bhagavad Gita teaching started. So he owe a great deal to Arjuna for making it possible to bring this teaching by the Lord himself and through Arjuna to all mankind. The teachings of Bhagavad Gita is non-sectarian. It is not there is no requirement to worship a particular deity or do certain spiritual practice. These are practices applicable to all human beings, regardless of any other differences such as nationality, faith, religion, or anything. This is called Yuga Dharma. This is called Shashvata Dharma. Eternal values of eternal validity, universal relevance. Those are presented in these teachings by the Lord himself to Arjuna and through Arjuna to all other human beings. That's why we should be grateful to Arjuna. There, where people study how the practice of questioning everything they do before they do and say, where they study the teachings and put at least some of them into practice in their daily lives, their peace will prevail. Dhruva niti, permanent peace and prosperity in society. There will not be much room for violence, disagreements, and fighting. Shri, there will be wealth because there will be prosperity. Bhuti, people work hard as karma yogis, do everything in a selfless way, offer it to the society, to God, then everything will be successful. Very little selfishness and narrow-mindedness, very little attachment. That's how the society improves. Vijayaha, everything will succeed. Bhutihi, prosperity. Dhruva, nitihi. So that is the conclusion. So after Sanjaya narrates this one, then that is the end of the Bhagavad Gita. And we have made a beginning in the study of the Gita. I request you not to think that you have studied the Gita and put the Gita book aside. It is a lifelong study. We can never say, any of us can never say, I've studied the Gita. We have to keep on learning. As Sri Ramakrishna said, as long as we live, so long we learn. So this is a book of eternal relevance. The more we study, the better our understanding will be, and we will be able to practice the principles well in our daily lives. That's how we make spiritual progress. As we mentioned in the mentioned earlier, Gita has two aspects. One is Adhyatma Vidya, another is Yoga Shastra. Gita has the essence of all the Upanishads. It also enjoys the status of an Upanishad, though it is not an Upanishad. It's a part of the Mahabharata, which is an epic. Upanishads are part of the Vedas. There are different categories of scriptures, Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. But Bhagavad Gita enjoys same status as the Upanishad. So, at the end of every chapter, we read a concluding statement, colophon. There we say, Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu is like an Upanishad. But it is more than an Upanishad, if you ask me. Because Upanishad contains mostly the Brahma Vidya. The nature of the self, Brahman, Atman, whole universe is that. The names and forms are superimposed realities, not permanent, not eternal, and pure consciousness, Sachidananda, all those things are there. We are all that one. So that is the main emphasis in the Upanishadic teachings. There is not much by way of practical instructions things that we can do every day in our daily lives. Here and there are some instructions like telling the truth, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, Swadhyaya, Anma Pramadaha, all that we studied. Those are general instructions, but not much detail in terms of practical instructions that we have to do every day. Gita has that one. In that way, the teachings of Gita are more precious. Also, the language is simpler in the Gita. Upanishad contains Vedic Sanskrit, later Vedic Sanskrit, but Gita Sanskrit is more recent and simpler. So it's a very important scripture. Every day we have to study some part of the Gita. Sri Ramakrishna said, study the Gita every day. Also, Swami Shivananda Mahapurush Maharaj said, many people study some part of the Gita every day. Some people chant the whole Gita every day, members of the Gita Mandal, and some people chant a few chapters, and some people chant one chapter every day. Some chant a few verses or one shloka every day, one a day, like multivitamin. Keeps us our spiritual health in good condition. One Gita shloka every day, read, reflect, and practice. So that has to be done. That is the importance of the Gita teachings, applicable to our daily lives, regardless of our nature of our duties, our backgrounds, our religious faith, whatever. These principles are of eternal value and universal relevance. Now, I like to highlight a few segments. Not enough time to do all of it thoroughly, but in the second chapter, from verse number 13, specifically, I'll tell you, from sloka 16 onwards. 16 onwards, the next few slokas contain the description until almost sloka number 30. 20. Yachedhyamadaksyoyam. 30, sloka number 30, approximately 13 to 16 to 30. That is the Jnana Yoga portion. And much of the remaining chapters have more emphasis on the practical Yoga Shastra aspect of his teachings. Then I would point out two verses in that segment, 47, 48. Many of you have heard this many times. 47, 48 in chapter 2, they're very, very important. And those two verses, they contain, I can say, the gist of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga comes in almost all the chapters. And some people say Gita is actually a treatise on Karma Yoga. Balgangar Tilak, the famous national movement participant, he wrote his commentary on the Gita. And he's treated his treatise is Karma Yoga. So that is the main emphasis, because Karma Yoga is the basis for all other yogas. Without doing Karma Yoga, we cannot do Jnana Yoga, nor can we do Bhakti Yoga or Raja Yoga. For all of those, Karma is basis. That's why so much importance has been given to it. So the gist of Karma Yoga, main points, are contained in these two verses, 47 and 48. In Sloka 47, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, you do not have any authority or power to control the outcome of your work, though you think you are the doer. So we have to accept the outcome after having done our part in the best possible way, whether the outcome is to our liking or not, success or failure, gain or loss, you have to accept it with equanimity. Sloka 48, he says, do all work as a karma yogi. Yogastha kuru karmani. Yogastha means staying established in the attitude of yoga. Stha means staying in. Grastha, ashramastha, stha means. So as a yogi, perform all action. Yogastha kuru karmani. What does it mean? Two aspects. What does it mean to practice do all work as yoga? Two things have to be kept in mind. What are they? One is Sangam Tyaktva, 248. Giving up attachment to karma, karma phala. Doing it in the least selfish manner, not just for me and myself. May this work benefit all and everybody. Extending, including all the beings, not only human beings, animals, plants, and whole of nature. May my work, that may be very small in magnitude, but it should not cause any negative impact on anybody, even on animals and plants and nature. If possible, it should be of some positive use to other beings, not just for me. In a selfless manner. Sangam Tyaktva, Siddhyo Samo Bhutva, very important point. Several places in the remaining chapters, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, practice equanimity, samatvam. Samatvam yoga vichyate, 248. Equanimity is the essence of yoga. Equanimity means remaining calm and unperturbed under all circumstances, varying circumstances of life. Everybody's life is a mixture of good and bad, pain and suffering, and some good times. So what Bhagavan Sri Krishna is saying is, when you are experiencing happiness and success, do not be attached to it, and don't think it will be there all the time. Next moment, things may change. We don't know. Nothing is permanent. So be thankful. Let us be thankful for the good things in life. Celebrate them, but not become too much attached to them, or assume they'll be there all the time, or exult too much in success. Asiddhi means failure. Many a time when we, even in spite of doing hard work, our result is not up to our expectation. Our work does not succeed not because of any lacking on my part. I did the best, but other factors beyond my control, such as what other people do in the environment, etc., they can contribute to the failure of my work. I don't have any control over them. So then I have to do my best and accept the outcome calmly. If failure happens, loss happens, I should take it in stride and not be too much upset, not become angry, depressed, and yell and scream. Take it calmly. So our duty is to do our part in the best possible way we can. There our responsibility ends. Result is not in our hands. In the 247, he says, Ma karma phala hetur bhu. Karma phala means the fruit of our action, result of our action. Hetu means the cause. We cannot produce or cause result of our work. We can do the work, we have to do the work, but we don't have any control over the outcome of our work. Most of the time, the result of our work is neither predictable nor controllable. We don't say which way things will work out. We hope things will work out in the best possible way. We succeed. It may happen, it may not happen. Because many factors, such as natural calamities, weather, and our own past actions or failures, our own past failures, they may contribute to the failure of my present project. If I did not do something which I should have done 5 years ago, preparing for this work, now I don't have enough preparation for this work. My work may not be of good quality. Something that I should have done, now I cannot change that one. I can do the preparation now. Something that I did mistake earlier may be affecting my work right now. So all those factors we cannot change, we cannot control, especially what other people do, co-workers do, or environment in the family, environment in the workplace, company policy, and this corporate substructure, which has its own peculiarities, much of which cannot be controlled by the individual workers. So they all affect the outcome of our work. So Sri Krishna's teaching is do the best and leave the rest, accept the outcome with equanimity, be calm in success and failure. That this message comes throughout the Gita. Even before this one, in 10 verses before, 238, Bhagavan said the same thing. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jaya. Very more explicit there. Sukha dukhe same kritva. Sukha dukha, happiness and unhappiness, they come in everybody's life. Which comes when we cannot predict or control. Same kritva, treating them calmly, with equanimity, samatvam, equanimity. Labha alabha same kritva. Labha means gain, profit. Alabha means loss, which happens when we don't know. Labha alabha, jaya ajaya. Jaya means success, ajaya means failure. In any human endeavor, it may be in a family matter like bringing up children or relationships with other family members. It may be in the workplace, success, failure, relationship with the co-workers. All those things affect our work, quality of our work and outcome of our work. And the company policy that affect all those with examples, we studied those things, how they affect the result of individuals' work. So we have no control. Therefore, Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva 248. Remaining equanimous in success and failure, do your work. Yogastha kuru karmani, do work as a yogi. Those are the two main important points in the Karma Yoga part of the teaching. This comes in many places. For example, 520, chapter 5, verse 20. There he says, when something good happens, present thing happens, don't become too proud and exultant, start celebrating, because next moment things may change. Something bad happens, don't become depressed. Everything passes. This too shall pass. So 520, equanimity. Na prahrushyet priyam prapya, no dvijayet prapya cha priyam. Priyam prapya na prahrushyet. Priyam is something pleasant. That I like. Agreeable. Prapya. When something good, pleasant happens, na prahrushyet. One should not exult too much. We can be happy, we can enjoy, celebrate, but not overdo that one. You can see sometimes in sports events, when the fans they lose control. When their team wins, they go on celebrating in Rajasic, Tamasic ways. Their joy they're expressing in a very Tamasic, destructive way. They go on breaking the windows and setting up cars on fires and all, get drunk and celebrate. Because their team won. The team loses, they become so angry, they can even beat up and kill. Sometime one player was killed by the fans because their team lost. So these are not proper. Keep our sentiments, happiness and happiness within manageable amplitude. We should not go to too much extremes. Na prakrushyet priyam prapya, apriyam prapya na udvijet. Apriyam means unpleasant. So loss happens, people blame without any reason, unjustly, because they misunderstand or for some other reason. Then what can we do? We can retaliate and get into an altercation, make the situation far worse, or we can let it be there. So when to tolerate, when to retaliate, we have to know. Sri Ramakrishna said, if you are always not reacting, no matter what people do, then they will start taking advantage. They'll start pushing buttons, because they know they can make you do things. They can make you happier and happy. They have control over my feelings. There should not be. So he said, hiss but not bite. You can hiss, but you can show that you can defend yourself, stand up for your right, be firm, take a firm position, but not aggressively. Assertiveness, yes. Aggressiveness, no. No anger, no hatred. Be firm. So those are things. Prapya na udvijet. One should not become too much upset and too much depressed or angry when something does not work out. Just to fight like that, many places, the message of equanimity has been given throughout the Gita. Then, third chapter is all about Karma Yoga. And then there are some 520, 518 also. Let's go back to chapter 5. 518, there, Samadarshitva, same-sightedness, equanimity in respect of our experiences, good or bad, pain, pleasure, loss or gain, we remain calm. Samadarshitva means seeing everybody, treating everybody alike. Seeing the divine presence within them. So that's in 518. Vidya vanaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini sunichaiva shapakecha pandita samadarshina. Pandita means a person who has knowledge of the self, jnani. And not simply a person whom we call pandit who does some puja for money, not that one. Knowledge, jnani, who has discrimination, knowledge. Such a person, such people are Samadarshina, they practice same-sightedness, Samadarshitvam. Samadarshine Namatiharo, that famous song, Avguna Chittana Dharo. Vidyavane Sampane Brahmane. If you take the spectrum of beings, one end you can find the best of human beings. Highly qualified, education, culture, also humility. And seeker of God, seeker of Brahman, best human being. At the other extreme of the spectrum, you can find Shapaka, Vaka means a person who is born in unfortunate circumstances, in a slum or some place, no school, no education, no good health, no health care, and no culture, just somehow taking out in existence. Such a person. In between, you see all the other variations. Good people, bad people, very good people, very bad people, animals and plants also come there. Brahmane Gavi. Go means cow. Very useful animal, sattvic animal. Hastini, elephant. Gentle giant. Suni, dogs, very loyal. Dogs are so loyal, so attached to their owners, they get into danger to save the owner's life. Shuni Saiva Shapaka, worst human being. In all of these, towards all these people, Pandita Samadarshinaha, how can you maintain same-sightedness? People are so different in their natures. Some are very good, we have no problem with them. It's a pleasure to deal with them. Some are not so good, some are very bad and difficult to deal with them. Sometimes we have to, unfortunately, we have to work with them, live with them. Then say a big challenge all throughout our life. So we should not hate anybody. One principle in human relationship is no hatred. That came in chapter 12, verse number 13. No matter what happens, you can retaliate, you can stand firm and protect yourself, all without hatred. The first quality of a devotee in the 12th chapter 12, verse number 13 to 19, Bhagavan was describing the qualities of a devotee of God. Who can be a bhakta? The first quality of devotee is he should not hate anybody. He or she should not hate anybody. Including animals and plants and inanimate things. Seeing the presence, divine presence in all of them. It's difficult, but you have to practice it. So that is the basis for same-sightedness, samadarshina, no hatred. You don't have to be friendly with everybody. You can stay away. We cannot change anybody. So Sri Ramakrishna explained how to deal with difficult people with a simple parable. The parable is the story of the mad elephant, wild elephant. In a forest hermitage Gurukulam, many students were residing and they all had their duties to do, the boys. They were staying in the teacher's home. And some boys had to go and collect firewood for cooking and fire ceremony. Some boys had to work in the garden, some had to bring water, some had to help in the cleaning, etc. Daily duties. So one such boy who had gone there to collect firewood in the woods, several people were working there. And suddenly they heard a hue and cry. Somebody was yelling, mad elephant, wild elephant coming, stay away, get out of the way. The Mahout was riding on the back elephant. He could not control it because it had gone amok. So he's asking people to get out of its way. Everybody got out of its way and took shelter. But one boy stood there right in front of the oncoming wild elephant. But the wild elephant did not know the boy like any other thing. He took the wild elephant took the boy in its trunk and threw him aside and went away. And then when the boy he became injured and he was taken back to the ashrama, Gurukulam, teacher asked him, why didn't you, like other boys, move away from the path of the wild elephant and save yourself? The boy said, sir, every day in the class you say God is present in all, even animals and plants and all people. So I was trying to pray to the elephant, Narayana. Oh Lord Narayana, you have come in the form of the wild elephant. I bow down to you like that. And I was trying to pray, the elephant came and threw me aside. But the teacher said, yes, I told you, it's true, I told you God is present in all. In the wild elephant also is present. But the Mahout also was asking you to get out of its way. In the Mahut also God was present. God in the Mahut was asking you to get out of the way. You didn't listen to God's words. You saw God only in the wild elephant. So if you had listened to God's words, was asking you to get out of the way, God in the Mahut, you would be saved, would not have been injured. So it does not mean we should get close to bad people, evil people, wicked people, because God is present. They don't know anything about God. Elephant does not know anything about God. It's an elephant. So similarly, wicked people, in them also God is present, no doubt. But they are not aware of that one. They don't believe in God or anything. They are tamasic people, they do bad things. So we should stay away from them. When you go to the zoo, you should not jump into the lion's den or the tiger's den. A couple of people did and they got killed and mauled. You stay away on the other side of the fence and from a distance say, bow down to you, this lion and tiger, God is present in you, but we be there on the other side, I'll be on this side. I bow down to you from here. Dura Deva never scare me. So we have to stay away and hiss but not bite. So those are the instructions. Now, the very important part of chapter 2 is the description of the Sthita Prajna. In 254, Arjuna asks a question. What are the qualities of a Sthita Prajna? Sthita Prajna is one who is awareness steady, fixed on the self. Sthita means fixed. Sthita means fixed. Prajna means awareness, consciousness. Most of the time, most of our minds are roaming in the world. Thinking of worldly people, what happened this morning, who came, who went, who said what, who is wearing what. Those things, a lot of it we think about worldly things. Rarely do we think about God. But Sthita Prajna is one who is constantly aware of the divine presence within him or her. Atman. So how does such a person behave? How does such a person act? They also do work. And what are their qualities? That Arjuna asks, 254. And 255 onwards until 72, end of chapter, Bhagavan gives a long list of qualities, virtues of a Sthita Prajna. First one of them is in 255, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamano gatan. So many desires arise in our minds, kama. In our minds, so many desires come. We cannot fulfill all of them without thinking. Desire comes, we should stop and pause and ask, what is the desire? What does it take? What does it cost if I fulfill it? How much happiness it will bring? What is the price I have to pay? Consequences now and later, all those things. Without thinking, if you do everything that comes to the mind, will be in great trouble. So a person who controls the desires, sarvan kaman manogatan prajahati, conquers all the desires that arise in the mind and acts thoughtfully, heedfully, he is a Sthita Prajna. Like this, many virtues are there. Some of those we should practice. Some people memorize this segment, 55 to 72, and chant it every day, and so that we can absorb it and start practicing some of the virtues. So in 520, we saw 6th chapter. It has instructions on meditation. One verse I specifically want to recommend is a couple of them. Chapter 6, verse no, you are in chapter 4, wrong chapter. Chapter 6. Moderation in food, eating, sleeping, etc. Chapter 6, verse 16. Yes, 16, 17, 18. 16, 17. Moderation. In 16, 6, 16, Bhagavan says, Na ati ashnatastu yogosti. Ati ashnata means one who eats too much. Ati means too much. For such a person, yoga nasti. He cannot practice any yoga. Glutton keeps on eating. Doesn't know when to stop. Not Nasekanta manashrata. Anashrata means a person who does not eat enough food. Some people are so conscious of their image, they don't want to remain slim and don't eat enough, and anorexia, bulimia, all those things will come. That's not good either. Either extreme is not good. Eating too much, eating too little. Moderation in food. Similarly, sleep. Nachati swapnashilasya. Swapnashila means a person who sleeps a long time he sleeps. And much time is spent in sleeping only. Get up very late in the morning and cannot accomplish much work. For such a person who sleeps too much, ati sapnashilasya, yoga is not possible. Moderation is good. Jagrato naiva chardas. People don't sleep enough. Very little sleep they get, that affects their health, their daily routine. If they don't get enough sleep, daytime they cannot be alert and active all the time. That affects their work. So this is not good. Either extreme is not good. So 17 gives the instruction. Yukta hara viharasya. Moderation in ahara vihara. Ahara means food. Not too much, not too little, just enough quantity, right time, right timing, right quality of food for health. Vihara means relaxation, resting. If there is no rest at all, person works continuously, then quality will go down and you cannot do much. Pacing is necessary. Rest is necessary. Enough rest. Yuktara viharasya, yukta chaishtasya karmasu. In regard to work also, some people now work too much, workaholics. They don't know when to stop, and all the time they spend their time in the workplace, and other aspects of life are neglected. Family and health are neglected. Some people don't work enough. They try to get away with the minimum they can do and not do enough work. Either extreme is bad. Yukta chaishtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya. Swapna means sleep. Not too much, not too little. Avabodha means remaining awake. All the time remaining awake or not remaining awake enough, both are bad. Yoga bhavati dukkha. For a person who practices moderation in work, in rest, and food and sleep. For a person who practices moderation, such a person can practice yoga, will be successful. Life will be more successful. Moderation in every aspect. Moderation in speech also. So that's an important verse. Sukham. And then verse number 26 in chapter 6, just one verse, though many verses are there. 26, he says, how to practice concentration during meditation or during any other activity. When you're doing a professional work, research or some calculation or some giving a talk or preparing for a talk or whatever work we are doing, cooking or anything, we should concentrate on what we are doing. If your mind goes here and there, you're doing something, then you are cooking. If you're not concentrating your mind on cooking, you end up putting salt twice, or you may forget to put salt. Then it won't, because mind was not alert, you're thinking something. So those things will happen. Therefore, keep the mind on the work that we are doing. Mindfulness, action, very important. That is in 626. How to achieve that one? He says, as many times as the mind goes away from the topic on which it is supposed to be, so many times patiently bring it back and make it dwell on the topic. For example, if you are meditating on the self, Atman, John is meditate on the self. I am that Brahman, I am self, like that one. For such a person, as many times as the mind goes away, bring it back and make it dwell on the self. That's what he says in 626. Yato yato nischarati manaha. As the mind goes away in different directions. Chanchalam asthiram. The mind is fickle and steady. Tatastata, from all those digressions, Nyamya, controlling the mind, Atmani eva vasham nayet. Bring it back and put it on the Atman. No, not that one now. Think about the self. Or you can meditate on a personal God, your Ishtadevata, bring the mind back to that one. I'm meditating on my Ishtadevata, chosen ideal, repeating the mantra, and suddenly my mind goes to something that happened last year, or something that I think may happen tomorrow or next year, or something that somebody said this morning. Some random mind goes away. So I should be watchful. If I'm not watching the movement of the mind, then it will stay like that for a long time. If I'm watching the movement of my mind, the moment it goes away from the topic of meditation, immediately I should bring it back and make it dwell on the topic of meditation. Not now. That you can think about it later. Right now, come back to this topic. That repeated practice is how we have to practice concentration. There's no shortcut or any trick or anything. And then 6:30:31, this topic comes several times. Seeing God in all. The basic teaching of Vedanta is one divine has become the universe. In the Gospel, again and again, Sri Ramakrishna says, the Divine Mother has become the universe and all the 24 cosmic principles, all beings. He had this vision when he was performing worship in the Kali temple. Once he had this mystic experience. Everything he saw as pure consciousness. Everything lost their name and form. The marble floor, the door frame, the windowsill, the water pot, the puja materials and the food and flowers and everything lost their name and form. Became waves of pure consciousness. He described this experience in his own words. This is on page, English Gospel page 345, 346. What he experienced in that mystic vision. Everything was pure consciousness. A wicked man standing outside the temple gate, in him also same divine presence was there. And the cat came there when he was having this experience. And the cat also saw the Divine Mother. Everything is she. So what he did, he took some food that was kept there for offering to the deity and gave it to the cat. The temple manager was seeing all this. Why is he feeding the cat with the food to be offered to Divine Mother Kali in worship? What is wrong with this priest? So the manager who saw this Sri Ramakrishna do this, went to the owner of the temple, Mathur Babu, and complained. Our priest, they used to call him Choto Bhattacharji, the young priest. He's doing all crazy things. He's offering the Nivedya food to the cat. Mathur Babu knew Sri Ramakrishna's nature. He said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So like that one, seeing the presence of God in all, because he is in all. Not that we see God's presence in anyone, we don't see that right now. But the truth is he is present in all. And by the grace of God, we can see God's presence in all. And until then, we have to treat them with respect and love and compassion. No hatred in any case. So that is in 6:30:31. Jivamam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam chamai pashyati. He who sees me in all and all in me, to him I am never lost. He's always in communion with God. You're always dealing with God. You're always looking at God. You're always hearing God's words. You always live in the God's presence. If you're not aware of it, but the truth is that is the truth. So then we have to skip a few chapters. Go to chapter 12, as I mentioned before, on Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, contains a description of the qualities of a devotee. Who is a devotee of God? You all say, I'm devoted to Sri Ramakrishna, I'm devoted to Krishna, I'm a Rama devotee, like that one we can say. But do we have the qualities that make us a devotee? So those we have to know. Those are listed in verses 13 to 19 in chapter 12. So that segment we studied, you study them and try to practice at least some of those virtues. For example, 13, 15. So this is a test of our equanimity. 13, 15, Bhagavan says, Yasman no dvijate loko, loka no dvijate chayaha, harsha amarsha bhayodvegaihi, mukto yassata me priyaha. That person who does not do anything to upset other people and who remains unperturbed when other people do something. Either way, in the workplace or family or anywhere else, people do various kinds of things. Some do the right thing, some don't do the right thing. If I pay attention to everything and if everything upsets me, then I'll never have a peace of mind. Not only here, people in other countries, and war is going on. Those people are fighting with each other. Those are wrong things. If I become too much upset, there is nothing I can do about that anyhow. Then I'll go mad. See, so I should, let me remain calm. Same thing about when people do praise us. We should not let it get into our heads. They are saying good things about others, okay. So we should remain calm, not be affected too much one way or the other by what other people do and say. Lokat na udvijate. Loka means the world, other people. No udvijate. What they do, I should not be upset. Remain calm. If something we can do, we can do. At the same time, we should not do something that upsets other people. Both ways. So that is in 15, 12, 15. One more thing in 12th chapter is 19. There, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, very important instruction. Tulyaninda stutir mauni santushto yena kenachit. Ninda means blame. Suti means praise. We always get both of those things. No matter what you do, some people praise you, some people blame you for the same thing. That's the nature of the world. You can't do anything about it. We can't change the world. That's how it is. I should not become upset by that. Tulya ninda sutir mauni. Tulya means equal. Remaining calm in praise and blame. Mauni, remaining silent, not reacting to everything people say. Sometimes you have to with discretion. Santushto yena kenachit. Practice of contentment, not greedy. With whatever is there, yena kenachit, by whatever is there, santushta remain in terms of possessions and comfort and money, etc. Contentment, not in regard to spiritual practice. You should not say, I'm doing 500 japa every day, I'm content with it. If the child is not getting good grades, B's and C's and D's, and the child can say, I'm content. Sri Krishna said we should be content with what we have. So that is lack of motivation or some other problem. That is not contentment. That is, it may be a lack of motivation or a lack of interest or some other learning disability or something may be there. Contentment means in regard to possession, property, comfort, money, etc., living condition, we should be content with what we have. There is no limit to greed. So that is important virtue. Santushto yena connection. So like this. So we can go on, but we don't have enough time. And I want to give a few minutes to the questions. Let me put the earphone here. All right.
Pranam Swamiji.
Very good. Pranam.
Yeah. How do you define sadhana and devotion?
Define sadhana and devotion.
Yes.
Devotion, let us keep it for first Saturday in April. We are going to study all about devotion, Narada Bhakti Sutra. What is devotion? How does a devotee behave? What a devotee should do, should not do, all that we'll study in detail. What is sadhana? Sadhana means any kind of spiritual practice for us. Sadhana means can other things also. For example, for a bodybuilder, sadhana means going to the gym and working out very hard and eating and resting properly. That's sadhana for him. Sadhana for student is to study very hard and prepare oneself and gain knowledge. That is his sadhana. For spiritual seeker, sadhana means some kind of spiritual practice. That depends upon two things. One is our interest, our tendencies and our abilities and situations. Second is instruction given by the Guru. For each one of us, the Guru will be there. He says, for you, this is the set of practices and that we have to do. So whatever the Guru says, Guru may say, read this and this and these books. And every morning and evening, repeat this mantra and so many times and do this kind of worship. Whatever is good for us, knowing our needs and our abilities, the teacher prescribes the set of spiritual practices. That is one thing. Second thing is the common thing that all devotees have to do. Common things are following the rules of yama niyama, ahimsa, satya, all those things that have been studied. Those are common to everybody, whether we are doing Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, or Bhakti, or whatever we are doing, those rules are common. Doing our required duties, Niyatam Kuru Karma, those are common to everybody, regardless of what kind of sadhana we are doing. So this is how we are doing.
Well, sadhana doesn't mean meditation?
One of the practices is sadhana, meditation. Meditation what? And that will be to get instruction from the teacher.
Okay, thank you.
One more question. The question was, what is sadhana? Spirit, devotion. Devotion is postponed.
Maharaj, in chapter 5, Krishna says he is not the one who is giving the agency or actions.
Nadate kasachet papam nachevastu kurtam ebuhu nakarma palasam yogam sabhavastu pravartate. That one?
Correct, Maharaj. Yes, that one.
Okay. Here, the notion that I am the doer, kartritvam, that God does not give that one. It is our own ego that says I am the doer. Everybody, and not everybody, most people, when they do some action, we think I'm the doer, I'm speaking, you're listening. So I'm the doer is there, common. But that is not the truth. If I refer to I as Atman, which is the truth, then Atman has no action, it's pure consciousness. Nishkriya. If I think I'm the body and the mind, action I have. To think I'm the body and mind is ignorant. That's not true. So in the chapter 3, sloka 27, Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, 327, he said, all actions happen at the body, mind, sense organ, sense object level, interaction between sense organ, sense object. Gunas of Prakriti. A person who does not know that truth thinks by mistake he is the body and the mind. Such a person thinks I am the doer. So Jnani does not do that mistake. In 327, the attitude of a Ajnani does not know the truth is explained. 327. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimodhatma karta ahamite manyate. Person who does not have self-knowledge, that person thinks I am the doer. But a Jnani does not make that mistake. In chapter 5, verse 8 and 9, chapter 5, verse 8 and 9, what a Jnani thinks, Jnani also does work. Jnani also speaks and talks and walks and eats and does other things, may go to work also. Ramana Maharshi used to work in the kitchen every morning, early morning, and read newspaper and answer questions and compose hymns and everything. But he never said, I am the doer. Sri Ramakrishna never said, I am the teacher. I am doing something they don't say. They still do the work, lot of work. So how can it happen? At the most, Sri Ramakrishna would say, those who come here may have their doubts removed. That's what he would say. He did not say, I'm clearing the doubts of people, I'm teaching. He never said that. So Jnani says 5, 8, and 9, chapter 5, yesterday. While performing all duties, work, everything, Jnani says, Naiva kinchit karomi. I'm not doing anything at all. He says. When he says, I'm not doing anything at all, is he simply keeping quiet? No. He does all action. Pashyan, Sranman, Sprishan, Jigran, Kashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Grindhan, Mission, Nimishan, Napi. All these actions that we do, Jnani also does. Eating, walking, talking, sleeping, etc. Yet he says, Naiva kanchit karomi. If you ask Jnani, you're doing all these things, you're drinking water, you're drinking tea, you're eating, how can you say you're not doing anything? You know what the Jnani says? Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. All actions that you see that is happening, they are happening because sense organs interact with sense objects. Mind is also a sense organ. Mind says, I want to drink tea or water. Then hand follows the instruction. Hand grabs the teacup or water cup, takes it to the mouth and sips, and then keeps the cup back on the table, and the tea or water goes inside the body. Body takes care of the rest of the digestive process. In all these, where is the I? Am I the mind? Am I the body? Am I the hand? Am I the tongue? Am I the teacup? Am I the table on which it is kept? There is no I at all. But ordinary people say, Aham karta. Jnani says, Naiva kinchit karo. So that is the big difference. Who is the karta? This ignorance, I am the doer, is God is not responsible for that one. Sabhavasta pravartate. We all do all action most of the time, we do most of the actions propelled by our swabhava, previous samskaras, impressions, which drive most of our thinking and action. Not all of them, generally. Okay.
But Swamiji, the body, mind, ego, intellect, complex, and senses, they are powered. They receive the power from the Atman, and the Atman receives the power from God. And so therefore, the Sthula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, they're inert. So that's why we mistake it for that we are doing everything. But actually, if they did not receive the power from the Atman, then we call it a lifeless body when the death of the body occurs, because there is no life given by the Atman anymore. And the Atman is powered by God in meditation and in sleep. Would you say that, or would you?
Everything that happens on the earth, the question was, actions happen at the body, mind, sense organ, but these are all powered by the Atman. Atman gets the power from God. That's what she says. So we should not say Atman is responsible for the work. The answer is, Atman does not do any work. Right. Like the sun. Sun is in the sky. He does not do anything. He simply shines. Because of his presence, his power, so many things happen on the earth. Because of sun's power, rain happens, water flows, and crops grow, people live, animals live, plants live, earth rotates. Because of sun's power, all these things are happening. But can we say he's doing all these things? He simply he's not doing anything. He simply stays in his own place. His nature is to shine, he shines. You can't blame the sun for something. People do bad actions here in sunlight. You can't blame the sun for that one. If it doesn't produce light, then nothing is possible. In sunlight, Sri Ramakrishna gives this example. In sunlight, evil people commit such things as forgery, robbery, etc. And good people do all good things, prayer, meditation, study, everything. It's same in sunlight. but he's not responsible for these actions, good actions, bad actions. No, he's only there. Atman is there. Pure consciousness does not do anything, does not cause anything to happen. Because of his power, everything happens. Like because of sun's power, everything happens on the earth. But we can't blame the sun for that one if people do bad things in sunlight. So the body, mind, sense organ, they do the action, they enjoy the fruit of action. If they are good, they suffer the effect of bad actions.
But the Atman
suffers nor enjoys.
Yeah, but the Atman also suffers indirectly because of Maya.
Atman is pure consciousness. There is no suffering or enjoyment for Atman. The mind, ego, body, mind, that suffers.
Right, but Swamiji, because of illusion, Maya, it thinks entanglement and it delusion of suffering.
Yeah. But Atman itself does not suffer. It appears like that.
Right, because of Maya.
Yeah. Yes, that's the answer.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll stop here. One more last question. Otherwise, I have a suggestion to make. Two things actually. Study the Gita continuously all life. It's a lifelong effort. Don't say Gita, I've studied Gita and keep the book aside, one thing. Second thing is, Swami Sarvadevanji have given a series of lectures on an Narada Bhakti Sutra. It's in the internet, YouTube. So if possible, listen to his lectures. Lectures on Narada Bhakti Sutra by Swami Sarvadevananda. And if you have time, if you want to listen to those lectures, some of them at least, preparation for our study of Narada Bhakti Sutra, beginning from first Saturday in April, no, second Saturday. First Saturday. We'll decide.
Second Saturday.
We'll let you know. Okay. Anything else? Closing prayer. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share my very little imperfect knowledge with you. You have been very patient, listening to me week after week. And you have chosen to continue this next house. Okay, closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from diseases, afflictions, and other problems. May all know and practice what is right, noble, and auspicious. May there be no suffering for anyone. Om, peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. Adi Bhautika Shanti. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. Adi Daivika Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you all and Namaskar. Very good.